Hey, it's Brian of Team Sex Panther, and I'm going to be doing another of my deck profiles for you today. And this one is my Bermuda Triangle deck. Now, I built this deck after set 5, not necessarily to fight cross rides, that just happened to be when I decided to build it. But it actually is such a defensive deck that it can fight Dragonic Overlord the End and Majesty Lord Blaster and Phantom Blaster Overlord pretty readily, so it's a good choice in my opinion. This build is a little messed up in how it plays, I think, because it's not uncommon for this deck to have a 9 or 10 carded hand with a lot of 10k shields in it. The only issue with it is that it has a hard time fighting Tom, so you gotta take it or leave it with that. But I'm gonna get into my grade zeros now. My starter is Bermuda Triangle Cadet Weddle, and her skill is that while she's on my rear guard, I can put her into the soul and bounce back a unit in my rear guard to my hand, and that triggers a few effects later on in the deck, but it can also send back 5k shield or whatever I called to rear guard if I need more shield back in my hand. And then starting with my triggers, I run the 4 heal, pretty standard, not much to say about that. And then I am running 8 critical triggers because I like the aggressiveness that 8 criticals give. However, in decks that don't have a lot of draw power, I do like to run more draw. But this one doesn't have that problem. And I feel that after playing this deck for a while, if you have draw triggers, you will deck out pretty quickly. So I'm running stand triggers. Since I'm not running the draw trigger, I don't have the full drive quartet in the deck, so I decided to go with 2 of each stand trigger, which actually works pretty great with later in the game when I hit grade 3 with some of my other cards. So the stand triggers actually turned out to be pretty aggressive. I'm running, for my grade 1s, I have 14 of them. I am running 4 of the 8k Mermaid Idol Sedna, who actually has a critical, not that this card printed it. And then I'm running 4 of Pearl Sisters Pearl, who when placed on rear guard, she allows a Pearl Sisters Perla, the grade 2, to get the skill that when her attack hits the Vanguard, I get to soul charge and then draw. So a lot of people actually don't like me doing that, but that's another thing for Weddle to hit. So I'll actually show you something with that later. And then I'm running 4 Prism on the Water Murtoa. She's Bermuda Triangle's version of Dark Hat, which I actually like running in this deck because I get to draw from it and it lets me fix my field if I need to. Because there will be times when I'll have not enough boosters and I'll call one and then I'll draw a card and be able to call another one and just fix a field. The downside is that it gives the opponent chances to draw, but if they deck out sooner while doing it, then I don't care that much. I'm only running 2 null guards because I like the other skills that my grade 1s give. So I didn't feel that I need to run too many of her. And with all my triggers being 10k shields, there isn't a lot I have to use her on. It's basically if I don't want to waste my entire hand to do it, or in Dote's case, if they have 3 20k light columns, then I'm definitely going to use that on Dote. So my grade 2s, I'm running 11 of them, by the way. And I have 4 Pearl Sisters Perla, and her skill is that when she hits the Vanguard, that I get to Soul Blast one and bounce a unit back to my hand. Now what I normally do is I'll ride her as my grade 2 ride, and typically I'll have Weddle right behind the Vanguard. So if I call Pearl, she now has the ability that when she hits, I get to Soul Charge and then draw, and then bounce this unit back to my hand for a Soul Blast. Now what I like doing with Weddle is after I call her and give the skill to my Vanguard, I'll put her into the Soul, and then I'll call her here and give her the skill again. So it'll be a 16k column, and if the attack hits the Vanguard, I get to Soul Charge and then draw twice. So I'll get 2 more cards to my hand. And normally people have started to guard that strategy, but if they guard it and I get a trigger, then they wasted a 10k shield. Or if they'll guard it so that nothing passes, I mean, they just wasted 2 cards from their hand, and you really didn't lose anything. So, I really like that one. And then I'm running 2 Girls Rock Rio. One of them's SP. I'm only running 2 because I don't like that 8k power. She can't really hit much. But when she's on the rear guard and she's bounced back to the hand, I get to counterblast 1, soul charge, and then draw. So again, if you wanted to, you could just call her, put Weddle in the soul, bounce her back, and get her skill off. So that one's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. But again, I'm only running 2 because I don't like that 8k. Since I'm only running 2 null guards, I did feel that I needed some extra shield, so I'm running the 10k intercept. Again, only 2 because I don't like that 8k, so I only have 4 8k grade 2s in this deck. And then rounding off my grade 2s, I have 3 Top Idol Aqua, who is my 10k beater. So, not really much to say there. But now getting into my grade 3s, of which I have 8. This deck has 2 main units that it uses. I'm running 3 Top Idol Pacifica, who is this deck's Mega Blast. But the main reason I use her is for her soul charge ability. Is at the beginning of my main phase, I soul charge, draw a card, and then put a card from my hand to the bottom of my deck. So if I'll have too many grade 3s in hand, I'll use that, and let's say I draw Aqua. I can then put the extra grade 3 to the bottom of my deck, and I just switched no shield for some shield. So she's the main reason this deck is able to fight the way that it is. But she also has the skill that if I have 4 or more Bermuda rear guards, that she'll gain plus 3,000 when attacking, which means she can be boosted by anything in this deck and make a cross ride, force out 10k shield. So she's pretty good. Her Mega Blast is when she hits the Vanguard, I get to search my deck for 3 rear guards and call them. I don't really use that ever because I'm usually using Counterblast for Rio or for Serum, which I'm actually running 2 of. So she's basically just the 21 Vanguard who allows me to cycle out the bad cards in my hand. And since I already showed it, let's go with Serum next. She's the generic Counterblast 1. She'll gain 3,000 when attacking. So again, she can also be backed by anything in this deck and make a cross ride force out a 10k shield. When played on rearguard, I find that decks are actually hitting her pretty often. So they don't like the fact that I can just gain the extra power that I need for, let's say I have a 17k, 21k, and a 20k column. That just forces out too much shield for their liking, so she gets targeted a lot. But as a Vanguard, she's not terrible. I mean, she's not the best. You'll probably lose if you're stuck with her for like 5 turns, but it is doable to win. So don't be upset about it if you get too many of her. And then the rest of my grade 3s are 3 Velvet Voice Reindeer. I like her because when she drive checks a grade 3, I get to then bounce a unit back to my hand and then call another unit. So let's say I had this column on rearguard and I attacked for 18. Then if I drive check a grade 3, I get to bounce this back, call it, and then with its counterblast, it's another 13k attacker. Or if I've already attacked with a unit and I need a booster somewhere else, I can make grade 1 cards get columns, so that way they can offer their boost elsewhere. So she's pretty good. I do find, though, that with this deck, I, for some reason, get my grade 3s a lot while I'm Pacifica, and more triggers while I'm Reindeer. But typically you do want to be Pacifica as the main Vanguard of choice, because she's the one who will get you so much shield in your hand. And like I said earlier, it's not uncommon for this deck to have a 9 or 10 carded hand with over 70,000 shield. You just need to watch how you use it, because otherwise you'll whittle down your hand way too fast. So that was my Bermuda Triangles. If anyone has any comments or anything else they want to tell me, let me know. Alright, thanks.